Hi, I'm Cynthia Martin with RealLifeRevised.com, and we're talking about how to change your attitude today and how to live a happier life. You know, sometimes we realize that life hasn't gone the way that we had hoped, and we don't have the dream life that we planned that we would. It's important that we consider the problem could be that we don't have the right attitude. So today we're going to talk about changing and exploring our attitude to see if that results in the changes that we need. First, we need to figure out if our attitude could use some adjusting. Have you ever, or do you find people trying to avoid you? Do you get set off maybe by the smallest incidents? Maybe you have ignored what people have told you in the past and you realize that that's become a problem. Or maybe someone has mentioned to you before that you have a bad attitude, even maybe currently or recently, or maybe even in the past. So I would suggest that you go through this exercise and you'll find that unfortunately that you're in the wrong more often than you realized. See, once we come to this realization, we can take the steps that we need to change ourselves. What we need to do first is ask ourselves, was I responsible in whatever situation that we were accused or were questioning if we had the wrong attitude? Ask yourself, was I responsible? And look at it from the perspective of an outsider, not from your feelings or what you took on the experience or the issue, but from someone from the outside that didn't know anything that was going on. Would they have considered that you had a bad attitude? Is there anything that you could have done differently? Think back to what you said, what you did, your body language, your tone, and also I think it's important that we ask the Lord, did I have a bad attitude? Am I struggling with a bad attitude? Sometimes we don't need to even ask, or the moment it comes out of our mouths, the Holy Spirit will help us to see whether we have a bad attitude. Next, we need to take responsibility for our own portion. Rarely are we 100% at fault for one situation, but we are proportionate, sometimes larger than others. If someone else is responsible for part of it, we need to allow them to be responsible for their portion, but we need to remember that we are only responsible for ourselves, but we need to be responsible for ourselves and for our portion. If there are some gray areas, be willing to take the high road. Be willing to be the higher person, the bigger person, to step forward and admit wrong and admit your portion of the responsibility without pointing fingers. This many times will allow people the grace and the mercy and even encourage them to step forward and take responsibility for their portion as well. Don't focus on the negative aspects of your life or anyone else's life. Accept both the good and the bad. We're all a work in process. But be proud of the good aspects of who you are, and remember that attitude is a heart issue. Be willing to work on the negative heart issues and attitudes and negative aspects of your personality and of your character traits. Ask the Lord to help you change your attitude. See, it takes time to readjust your thinking, so you need to give yourself some space. And very importantly, you need to realize that you're not always right. And as we recognize that, we can realize and recognize that that is an achievement in itself, because it is a very important part of the process to be able to recognize that you have a bad attitude or that you're not always right. You can expect others to recognize your changes as you achieve changes. Your attitude will change for the better, and you will live a happier life and make friends easily. You can also expect your job to change and your relationships to change for the better. You can expect your management will notice these changes as well. As we change, it affects our environment and those around us change. As we change for the better, our life changes for the better. I want to encourage you today to change your attitude, because it will change your life. God bless you and have a fabulous day.